Hamahalogo, ayo jonego. Hamahalogo, ayo jonego. Ayo jonego, nabe hajolile yanahene. Hamahalogo, ayo jonego. Ayo jonego, abe hajolile yanahene yuem. Nitchadiye nimata kwiche bechoni logo bena yenitzeni yanahene. Hamahalogo, ayo jonego. Ayo jonego, abe hajolile yanahene yuem. Bakodone neche yurkache, nehemata diye kodana habeke nachetli tu yanahene. Hamahalogo, ayo jonego, ayo jonego. Abe hajolile yanahene yuem. Hamahalogo, ayo jonego, abe hajolile yanahene yuem. Hamahalogo, ayo jonego. Hamahalogo, ayo jonego, nabe hajolile yanahene. Hamahalogo, ayo jonego, nabe hajolile yanahene yuem. Bakodone neche yurkache, nehemata diye kodana habeke nachetli tu yanahene. Hamahalogo, ayo jonego, abe hajolile yanahene yuem. Nitchadiye nimata kwiche bechoni logo bena yenitzeni yanahene. Hamahalogo, ayo jonego, abe hajolile yanahene yuem. Hamahalogo, ayo jonego, abe hajolile yanahene yuem.
That was the Navajo Healing Song by the Navajo and the Sioux, a very refreshing piece of music to start us off. Ban the Bomb Memorial falls short by one vote in the City Council. I wonder who has other interests in weapons of war. Looks like the cops are back to getting a pass for murdering young black men, and we'll have more on that discussion later. Navajo Nation braces for a battle over drilling on sacred lands, and threats to health and threats to Mother Earth are resonating all over the Navajo Nation. More on this ahead. More developments on the cannabis front. I started to say cannabis front. It seems that Councilor Ike Benton has proposed creating smoking lounges for the new cannabis communities in town. But not so fast, says Councilor Feeblecorn. She was quick to remind us that all inhaling in public is illegal under this new law. There's still a bill pending, however, that will permit businesses to apply for conditional use permits where indoor smoking areas exist. Let's see how long it takes to settle this in favor of the tokers. Good morning, Albuquerque, and welcome to another edition of That Saturday Show, brought to you by the Albuquerque Center for Peace and Justice, your advocate and your voice for social justice. I'm Jim Harvey, your host, and we have one fantastic show for you lined up for today. We'll be featuring the Navajo. We'll be featuring more music by a group called Apricot Jam. But first, let's dig a little deeper into the absence of justice that keeps on haunting us across this country. Amir Locke was his name, and while he lay sleeping in his apartment, the Minneapolis police burst into his apartment, and they even had a key. He had a legally registered firearm, and when he awoke with his gun in hand, but most say not pointing it at anyone, he was shot dead by one police officer. They've decided that there's not enough evidence there to charge that officer, so here we go again, another cop getting off for murder. The injustice system is seemingly back at work, covering up and shielding murderous cops. Meanwhile, on the local front, area students are fed up with the racism and the gun violence in Albuquerque public schools, and they are determined to do something about it. All across the city, students have been planning for a series of peace circles, conversations about what's going on in those schools. And they've planned on coming together in safety and without judgment to voice their concerns and to develop their own recommendations for creating safe environments for us as kids. The first Peace Circle was held just this past Thursday at the Peace and Justice Center, with more to come. We have every reason to be extremely proud of our young people for taking the leadership roles as we adults can't seem to fill. Now, let's get some good news from our friendly correspondent, Hassani.
Thank you, and welcome to Good News News. I'm your correspondent, Hassani Olujimi, and I'm Gugu for Good News. The goal of this segment is to inspire and uplift you, the viewer, with nothing but good news. Our story today should be titled, The Admiration of a Loving Daughter. Let's take a closer look, shall we?
Dear Mr. President, that's how Judge Jackson's then 11-year-old daughter Layla began her letter pitching her mom to the Supreme Court. The year was 2016. At the time, Justice Antonin Scalia had just died, and President Obama was looking for a nominee. So with careful penmanship, Layla made a case for her mom to get the job. I, her daughter, Layla Jackson, of 11 years old, strongly believe she would be an excellent fit for the position. She is determined, honest, and never breaks a promise to anyone, even if there are other things she'd rather do. She can demonstrate commitment and is loyal and never brags. Thank you for listening. Layla signs off. There were fireworks when Senator Lindsey Graham went on a rant. The Republican from South Carolina stormed out. Senator Ted Cruz pressed her on critical race theory.
Agree with this book that is being taught with kids that babies are racist?
I do not believe that any child should be made to feel as though they are racist or though they are not valued or though they are less than.
Now, isn't that good news? Ooh, good luck, Judge. Good luck. You know, speaking of daughters, I had dinner with my sister and her daughter the other night, and my niece told my sister, I see that your glass is empty. Would you like another one? And my sister said, now why would I want 2 empty glasses? Yes, that was good. I don't get paid for that Saturday show, so this is the best they're gonna get, okay? Well, If that didn't make you laugh, let's take a trip right on over to the Comedy Corner with some dad jokes. Enjoy.
What do you call a funky car? A Mustang.
That's decent. That's decent. What did Michael Jackson call his denim store?
What?
Billy Jeans.
I like what you did there. How do billboards talk? Sign language.
That's a solid joke. What does a dinosaur use to pay bills?
What?
Tyrannosaurus checks.
You almost got me. What do you call ghost poop? Boo-boo.
That was so good, you almost made yourself laugh. I need to tap out.
Well, as we always say, the best way to turn a frown upside down is to get Google for good news. I'm your correspondent, Hassani Olujimi, and I'll see you right here next time on That Saturday Show with more You Got It good news. Now, this upcoming week, try to do a little bit more of this.
Hello, my name is Tommy Nakai. I am here next to a Navajo Nation Oil and Gas Porcupine number 1 proposal. They're supposed to well for helium, a proposed site for a helium plant. It's within our boundaries of our traditional Navajo ceremonial grounds, which is only a few feet from where I stand. We didn't know about this, what they were doing until about a month ago, when we saw a bunch of non-Navajos running around, staking out the area. We are concerned that it's gonna, because we are concerned, we have little of our traditional ways left, a little bit of the ceremonial, and everything around us is we consider as our church, and a lot of veterans have had ceremonies here. A lot of elderly people that are still living, they had ceremonies here, and all this place is sacred. My mother and I only live about a quarter mile south of this area, and we use that ceremonial grounds every year except the last 2 years because of the pandemic. And we're at the base of a beautiful mountain. We're east of there, and just west of me where I stand is a place called the Big Bell area, and we would greatly appreciate your help if you can help us in any way financially. We're going against a company and tribal officials that it's going to cost a lot of money. So we will greatly use your help. Thank you very much.
That Saturday show, and we're back for part 2 of a riveting discussion about what's going on in Navajo country around helium extraction, around oil and natural gas, and the plot to continue to destroy Mother Earth, and in the process destroy the inhabitants of Mother Earth in the name of greed. And joining us again today are our friends Elaine and Elle. Elaine, of course, is the executive director of Common Ground Rising, known for amplifying voices in New Mexico, and Elle, who is the secretary for Duda Helium, which is the no extraction campaign that's going on in Navajo country. And our fresh new guest is the president of Duda Helium, and that is none other than Tommy Nakai. And Tommy, we want to welcome you to That Saturday show and to this important discussion. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Tommy.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Tommy Nakai. My clans are Minihogan and Red. I'm born for Red House. And then in Navajo, there's a Tuatini, which means flown together, and Hachitni, which is I forgot what the exact English version was, but that's the person I am. I grew up mostly on the reservation, all the way from when I was born to currently. I did go away for school for about 4 or 5 years, and I'm now living in Sanasti, New Mexico. I live 3 miles north of Sanasti Chapter House. Their chapter house is the kind of like the local government. They're broken up in several chapters on the reservation. So I live 3 miles north of the chapter house, and we are approximately about 50 miles, 40 to 50 miles south of the actual Four Corners area. So we live in the northwest corner of New Mexico, and I got involved in this because about 5 months back, I stay home with my mother. So I'm a 24/7 caretaker for my mother. She's 84 years old, so it's only her and I. And so I was looking out the window, and I saw a bunch of people north of where we live. There's a ceremonial grounds, which is about 200 yards north of where we live, and we have like certain ceremonies that are all throughout the year. Some of the summer ceremonies and some of the winter ceremonies. So it has been active. As far as I know, I'm over 50 years old. So as far as I remember, from 1968, there was a ceremony that went on right there. So, and I was told that the ceremony has been always been there. That the grounds always have been there. So, and like I said, a few months back, I saw some people running around sticking out the area where the ceremony structures are, and although that the ceremonial grounds haven't been used in the last couple of years because of the pandemic, we still we still have that. We still respect that area because there have been ceremonies for veterans, young ladies, puberty ceremonies, and certain ceremonies during the winter, like fire dances and Yabe chase, that have been held there, and seeing people there. I usually, even if I see Navajo or Native, I would be concerned, but these weren't. These were non-Navajos that were staking out the area and surveying the area and all over that certain area. So and there has been ceremonies that have been done, like the enemy way, or certain for veterans, and only like the Net people or Navajo people are supposed to go into that ceremonies when those are done. So there's still active sacred sacraments that are within the boundaries of the ceremonial ground. So they're supposed to remain there as long as, forever. So and
So
the way I saw it,
sacred land is being violated then.
yes,
And and we've seen that time and time again, certainly in Navajo country, but all over this country for that matter. We're most of us are occupying stolen land. And the question remains, when is it going to stop? But in this particular case, it sounds like, you know, these non-Navajos have been staking out the land because what they want to do is survey, to do some extraction, and literally raping the earth is what it sounds like. And so you've gotten active in that, and we're glad you're doing that. You know, we're really glad. So Elle, did you
Yes.
bring, did you drag Tommy into this work kicking and screaming, or did he step up? Did he step up all on his own?
Well, I figured that, yeah, actually, you know, there's a few people that called me asking me to help them. And so we had gone through several presidents. The first person that called me was the president. And then 24 hours later, he decided to go pro helium. And can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. And then the second person, we had her on board for a while and she just disappeared on us. So now we're down to Tommy, who's been really standing strong. So in a way, I guess you could kind of say that, you know, I did pull him in, but at the same time, you know, we like to stay as a team, and we don't want to, neither one of us wants to back out. So there's just the two officers and supporters. And so here we are, and we're determined to make sure that these extractions don't happen to destruct Mother Earth. We're, like I said earlier, you know, our mission is very simple. It's do not hurt Mother Earth. How would you like your mother being hurt? How would you like your mother's oxygen being taken out of her body while she's still alive so she won't breathe? It's pretty much the same thing that they're doing.
So for both of you then, you know, I know that you know, Common Ground, you know, has this unofficial motto: if you see a good fight, get in it. And you know, I live by that one as well. So Elaine, you know, pick this up and tell us, you know, what brought you into this particular issue.
Well, I had heard from various friends on the reservation that there was more extraction going on over on the west side of the state, and that they needed help, and that I've been watching certain meetings happen and votes happen. And so I reached out to Elle because years ago I helped on the Duda Desert Rock when another extraction had happened. And so we were getting the word out on that 20 some years ago almost. And so I knew that Elle was a really good organizer, and she was very successful in stopping that. And then she said that she was getting ready to put together a resolution and bring that forth, and she wanted to get that passed, and that she was going to organize a protest march. So I got involved and started helping do some social media and some other work to help spread the information out there about what was going on, because there was a lot of people who still hadn't heard about what was happening. And so we put together some flyers, and I guess Elle could talk a little bit, or Tommy can talk a little bit about April 18th coming up.
Yeah, for April 18, we'd like to do a march, and that's the first day of the spring session for the Navajo Nation Council. And so DODA No Helium Extraction Group is going to be marching. And then we also invited other groups. And so we'll have the veterans also marching with us. because they have many issues also. And then also the farmers and ranchers. They were raided by the Navajo Nation police a few months ago. So we feel like the Navajo Nation Council and the Navajo Nation President and Vice President's office are not listening to us. So that's where we're going to try to voice our thoughts, and we'll be marching from Basha's parking lot to the Navajo Nation Council chambers. And we'll be having a press conference in front of the chambers. So we would like to get more word out to any media that you guys are aware of, and so that we get coverage throughout not only the United States but throughout the world. So that's our intention, because we did a march with the veterans and it was very successful. And we also did a march with the Dota Helium, and it was the day we did the last march on January 27 is when the legislation that legislation 0232-21, which is the permit that they were requesting for, was tabled by the Navajo Nation Council, because the Navajo Nation Oil and Gas was they didn't have all the information that they promised to the local community at Sasnosky, which is the chapter that we belong to, the one that Tommy was just talking about earlier. So I truly believe that these marches are very helpful and successful if we do it right. It's going to be a peaceful protest march. We never ever do rowdy stuff. I mean, people say we're rowdy and all that, but we're not rowdy. We're just doing a peaceful march. We just try to educate the public and people that are not aware of all this that's going on. They see the march and they say, well, what's the march for? And that's when we have the opportunity to let people know. So that's what's going to happen.
So if I remember correctly, I think we had a copy of a flyer, and we'll put it up again, announcing the march on the 18th.
Okay.
And I'll be sure that we add it to this particular discussion today, so that people will know. And we'll make certain that at the Peace and Justice Center, it goes into our newsletter that comes out weekly. It goes in on our website. It goes into Facebook and all of the other outlets that we have, so that people will know. And we'll be sure to share this with both the Albuquerque and Santa Fe chapters of Veterans for Peace, because I know they've been looking at this very closely and have been deeply involved as well. So we want to let them know that we're not resting, that we're aware of this, and the fight has to continue. So I've got a couple of questions for you all. The council, the Navajo Council that will be meeting, how large is the council?
There's 24 representatives throughout the whole Navajo Nation. So we have 24 council delegates, and that's, years ago we used to have 88. Right now we have 24.
So bombshell question. This is the bombshell question. How many members of the council have investments in the Navajo oil and gas interest?
5 of them.
5 of them have, yeah. And,
yes.
And okay, does that include the president?
No, you just said council, so I'm just talking about the council.
Just the council
I don't know. Yeah. The names of the council delegates are Charlene So, Oda So, Elmer Begay, Seth Damon, who is the sponsor of the legislation, and he's the Speaker of the House, and also Herman Daniels.
All right, so here comes the Clarence Thomas question. Will they be recusing themselves from this vote because of the fact that they have financial interest in?
Wait, let me correct myself. I can't remember the 5th person's name. There's 2 Daniels. So if I'm not sure if what the actual name of that council delegate was. Sorry about that. But
Okay.
what was your question again, real
So,
quickly?
so will they be recusing themselves from this
Oh,
vote?
no, they're not. In fact, there was a meeting at one of the communities, East Nesbos, on Sunday. And Miss Charlene So was speaking out for Navajo Oil and Gas. Navajo Oil and Gas are the ones that did a public education at the East Nesbos Chapter House. And that's where Miss Charlene So was speaking on behalf of Navajo Nation Oil and Gas.
So is part of the protest then to demand that they recuse themselves from the vote?
Yes,
And
definitely.
you're calling them out on that well in advance?
Yes.
That's yeah. We need to, yeah, I want that story out there as well. I want people to know, just how diabolical this is. These
Yeah,
people.
we'll be going live, so you'll be able to see us.
Excellent, 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 excellent. Elaine, what are you all doing in support of all of this now? You have some recommendations for us.
Well, I think that the call to action here would be to, if you can show up at 8:30 a.m., meet at Bosch's parking lot in Window Rock, Arizona, and help be a part of the march. Or at least be at the press conference in front of the Navajo Nation Council chambers at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time on April 22nd. That would be a big help. And the other one is to take some of our posts and share them and spread the word about this extraction. There's all, helium, it comes from alpha decay of underground deposits of minerals containing uranium and thorium, and they're drilling 6,000 feet into the Mother Earth. And at any point they could take a horizontal drill and drill oil or gas or anything while they're doing helium, and their environmental assessment allows them to do that. So when they approve this legislation, they're going to open it up. And so I'm a believer that that's their intention here, even though they say, oh no, we're only doing helium. And so I would say that it's very important that people bring their signs, they bring comfortable shoes, they bring some water, an umbrella to help if they're going to go in the march, and be a part of the voice for Mother Earth. And that's what no helium extraction is all about, is protecting Mother Earth and protecting a way of life, and to protect the people living in the area that would be so impacted by this extraction.
So you're making a valuable point, and that is that they're going to start drilling and going down as far as 6,000 feet. It's inconceivable to believe that, on the way down, they come across some oil or gas, and they resist the temptation and, and say, oh no, there's oil and gas, but no, our commitment is only to helium. We know that ain't going to happen.
Nope.
We know that's not going to happen. So Tommy, in terms of the actions that are happening and revealing these folks on the council that have financial interest in Navajo oil and gas in particular, how are you looking at exposing them and calling them out for what they're doing here? This conflict of interest in particular.
Well, in the last few weeks, we have been either on weekends or even weekdays. We set up a table at flea market in Shiprock, and we've been trying to educate a lot of our people regarding. We also collect signatures, petitions for petitions, and we've been educating our people of what's going on with the council, some of the council that are shareholding with some of the companies that are oil and gas explorers, and a lot of our Diné people didn't know that's been going on, because originally they thought they were just the council people were just there to represent them, but now they're finding out that they're actually shareholders of profiting on the side, and a lot of like I said, a lot of them didn't know. So that's what we've been doing. So we've been working hard to do that. So, and we're also looking at other avenues to do that, to counter their actions, counter the council's actions.
So we're looking at a couple of critical dates here. The first is the 18th of April, which is the day that the council meets and votes on this. Now, is that a preliminary vote? Is there a vote that has to follow that? Because I know that there's also a protest scheduled, not only one for the 18th, but one also scheduled for the 22nd. What's the difference?
I believe all that week they're gonna meet for the spring session. So
okay.
I believe that's the first day of that spring session. So
Okay, Jim, the
Yes.
The spring session starts on the 18th. That's the day we're gonna march.
Good.
And then we don't know exactly what day, or even if they will untable the legislation and put it back in front of the council delegates. So unless if they have the required documents that they were requested of on January 27, when they table that legislation, that's the only way that's going to happen. It's going to go back on there and have them untable it. So, but we don't know exactly what day, if it's going to happen. Who knows? With our protest, it might not happen. Right now, when they first tabled the legislation, it was 557 pages, and now it's over 800 pages. And so, who knows what's going to happen between now and then?
So starting on the 18th, it's just ratcheting up pressure that you've already begun.
Yes.
And so have you made the headway, and I don't want you to give out any names if you have any. Are there other council members that are proving to be allies in fighting against this legislation? You know, have you gotten some
within the council, you mean?
Within the council, yeah.
Well, I can mention names. There's one, Elmer Begay, who's a shareholder, who is for. You mean the one? He's the one that's pro helium, or are you talking about our allies?
I'm talking about the good guys.
Okay, the good guys.
Yeah.
We don't know if there's any good guys at all or good ladies at all. So we're hoping that our council delegate, Amber Crotty, will be the good guy. But we don't know for sure. I just don't understand how you cannot be the good guy if we're for fighting, and if our campaign is to protect Mother Earth.
Exactly.
So that's the part I don't understand. But then I also understand that, you know, a lot of these leaders are in there for for their to fill their pockets with the dollars that they hope and wish for. So money is not everything. So when you extract helium, I always say that helium is coming from decayed uranium. And so years ago, there was uranium mines in the same area where a lot of our relatives had passed from cancer and some, respiratory issues. So how on earth would you say it's okay? How on earth would you say, yeah, there's money, but with all that money that they're thinking and that they're talking about and that they're proposing, with that money, they can't buy the people that have passed away. They can't do that. So right now, I'm just like, how could you not say, yeah, let's help the people that are saying no to the helium extraction, because we don't want any more of our relatives passing away from the decayed uranium. And Navajo Oil and Gas is saying, oh, no problem, there's nothing wrong, there's no health, it won't impact your health at all. And I'm like, we may look really stupid, but we understand, what's going on. It does really piss you off, and when you're really voicing your opinions out there, you have to say what you think and what has happened in the past, what our history is. So it makes me cry. I lost my dad to cancer because he worked with the uranium for many, many years. He was a mill operator. And my father-in-law passed away from being a uranium miner for many years. And a lot of other relatives and friends that I've helped out have passed on due to the same thing. And it hurts.
Sure does. Sure.
I don't understand why you would say it's okay. It's because it's not okay, and it's not going to be okay, and we're not going to let them do it.
This is urgent. This is absolutely urgent. Yeah, urgent. And
what they do in that helium mine, just for helium, is one of the chemicals they put down that hole is napalm. And so when it comes back up, they have to put it somewhere, and they're going to put it in open pits according to their environmental assessment. And so they're going to ravage this area. And so it's really important that we really paint the picture of what the destruction is going to be to Mother Earth and the impacts to the Dene people in the area, and what it's going to do to climate, because it's going to increase emissions. And that's one thing that we need to start asking for of all of our leadership, is we need to see what your cumulative impacts are going to be. You have to show us that. We want a whole environmental impact statement. We want to be able to make sure that there's been notification and there's transparency in this process. And so far, there has not been.
Are there people that we as non-Navajos, as people who are not living in Navajo country, are there actions, in addition to being out there for the protests, are there other actions that we can support, that we can get involved in, like letter writing campaigns, phone calling campaigns, anything else that's necessary in order to exact even more pressure and awareness on members of the council?
Yeah, I think there's several things. One is to pressure the shareholders. You can email me. I can email you the names and email addresses to them. And then also the other thing is fundraising. We really need funds. So we have a flyer out there for people to donate their art, and we were going to do an art raffle. And then also we had planned to do online music, but I think we might be able to do a live music, in-person music festival rather than an online thing at this point. So that's another thing that we're working on. There's just so much to do that, there's not enough time in the day to try to get a lot of things done.
So what I would like to do then is at the end of this discussion today, if you send me all the information, I'd like to get that information all up on the screen. So beginning Saturday morning, when people see this particular segment of the show, that all that information will follow, and we'll
Sure.
we want to get people involved, and let you know that you're not in this by yourselves, and
Thank
certainly
you.
having Elaine and Common Ground Rising there is a good solid message. But there's room at the table for a lot more of us, and we're on the way.
Yes, definitely.
We are
Thank you
on
very
the
much.
way. We are definitely on the way. So we've got about a minute and a half left, and I want to use this time to just get any final messages out, and then I want to close this with the statement that Tommy that you left for everybody, and we'll end the show with that statement. I think it's a powerful statement that people need to. So, are there any closing messages that you want to get out there, any of you, to the listeners?
Yeah, this is Eloise. I just want to encourage everybody to come out and help. I know that we have a lot of friends and relatives throughout the world who know what happens in a case like this, and I'd like to send a special message out to Indigenous Environmental Network and other groups out there. Casey Camp, Amy Goodman, we need your help. Michelle, everybody else, we just need your help. We need you to help us get information out and support us, please.
We'll be sharing that. We'll be sharing that. Elaine?
I would put this over to Tommy. I think his final words are important here.
Well, Elaine and Eloise, I thank you both. And Tommy, we're going to give you the last word on this, and then close with your statement. Okay. So, Tommy.
Yes, we have to do everything we can in our that humanly possible. We have to do everything we can to protect Mother Earth, because it has been damaged so much, and we have to think of our kids, our future. And so that's why we're doing what we're doing. And we're not only doing it for our area, but we're doing it for the whole world. So that's what I like to say. So thank you.
Tommy, thank you so much. Eloise, thank you so much. Elaine, thank you so much. And everybody, let's take a listen as this important and urgent message ends with an important and urgent from the president of Duda Helium, Tommy Nakai. Thank you so much, and been watching That Saturday Show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
And we're back, and we are joined by Tom Dent, our director. And we've got a few things we want to talk about. Tom, you want to head us off?
Oh, well, you were talking a little bit about the lounges and the smoking outside and all that. One thing that happened last week where a kid was roaming around his house, found some candy, went to Algodones Elementary and handed it out to 12 classmates. And fortunately, they were okay. They were a little sick, but that brings up a point, for responsibility and responsible marijuana and edible use. Put it away, lock it up, like your firearms. Don't let that happen. Another thing that upset me, the state legislature just called a special session. They got a lot of good things going. What is it that they're going to award individuals for gas prices?
Well, they're going to give us $500 a piece.
And
started out at $350, and now it's up to $500.
And $1,000 for married couples.
Yeah.
But the thing that really irked me is they failed to bring up again and pass the funding to purge the records of people that were released from jail or in jail for marijuana use and lesser drug charges. And so I don't know. They're doing a lot of things. They're making up a lot of rules as they go. It's not over yet. So be careful and be informed so you don't smoke in the wrong place or you don't carry 2 ounces around, more than 2 ounces, because you can get in a lot of trouble for that. And you can't smoke on federal lands. You know, it's still federally illegal. Right. So if you're at the petroglyphs, if you're at Bandelier and you light up, they can put you in prison.
Yeah, and I want to see some action here among the cannabis dealers now to create a fund to begin to expunge the records of these kids that are in jail for marijuana possession and even those who were selling small quantities of marijuana. I want to see that happen. We need to get these kids out of jail. We need to expunge their records. And even those who are out on the streets now with no ability to get any kind of job or housing or any other kinds of supports that they're entitled to, they need to be supported. So I want to see the cannabis dealers, those who are now making fists full of money, to put that money where it needs to be.
Totally agree. And at the Peace Center, don't forget the Peace Cafe every Thursday from when? 10 to 3?
10 to 3. 10 to 3. Good food, good conversation, great music.
We've got chair yoga, we've got meditation. There's a lot of things going on.
And there's a lot more that's coming up. We're looking at beginning to introduce a lot of other activities at the Peace Center. And I'm just excited. But again, as I said earlier, my hat's off to the young people in particular who have decided that they're going to start having peace circles. Mm-hmm. And it's so important that the kids begin to come together and address these issues in Albuquerque Public Schools that the leadership can't seem to wrap their heads around. Yeah. The adults have abandoned the kids, and so the kids are saying, we're going to do it ourselves. Mm-hmm. Bravo, APS students.
All right, kids.
And that's...
I don't know if I have too much time, but you're about to hear the song Winter off the album Sticky by Apricot Jam. Apricot Jam features James Whiten, who's like a world-class bassist. He played with the Eric McFadden Trio, and Eric McFadden went on to play with people like Government Mule and the Tedeschi Trucks Band.
And that brings us to that music. Thank you, Tom Dent. Right. And thank you, audience. We'll see you next week.
Have a good weekend.
All the colors run out of the cold winter sky, and the branches are black against white. And the wind whispers through every sad evening sigh as the trees reach their fingers toward night. And the paperback lies on the table unread. One more picture falls down from my wall. And I can't seem to drive this old tune from my head. And the language you yesterday calls the cold romancing, the time she cried. Why did you tell me that she lied? She lied. up your letter, come down from my room, and I put on my jacket and shoes. I walked down to the water, stare up at the moon. There was something I wanted to lose. The cold romancing, the time she cried. Why did you tell me that she lied? She lied. And a small flake of snow settles down on my head, and the waves beat the shore like a drum. The cold romancing, the time she cried. Why did you tell me that she lied? She lied.
Until the next time, it's time to say goodbye. When you out here in the streets, keep it real, 505. We love everybody, we just want to let you know. Thanks for tuning in to that Saturday show.